When did you realize your friends weren't actually your friends? When they're only called you when they need something from you. The worst types of friends. I think everyone had that one friend. I would never hear from anyone unless they needed something, usually when they wanted it for free. Not my story, but a mate's. Guy invites all his high school friends, he's known them around 10 years, around to celebrate his new house and newborn daughter. All the lads he invites drop MDMA in his lounge room and spend the night tripping without him, not even caring that he had all this amazing stuff he wanted to celebrate. Guy walks up to the ladies, who are obviously unhappy with the situation, and tells them, "I've just realized these guys aren't my mates, they are just using this event to drop and have fun on their own." Hearing that story broke my fucking heart. When I realized I was practically harassing them to hang out with me. Just gotta get some self-respect and learn to let it G0. When I got ill, once they realized I could no longer throw parties for them, they all left. I hope you have found friends that will stick with you. When I realized that my two best friends just came over to mess with me and make fun of me together. That's tough. Trios rarely work. I speak from experience. 2 times I go Tinto trios, the other 2 ended up a lot closer while I became the outsider. Kinda feels like you lost a race because you all started at the same point. Me and 2 girls were walking down the street and they completely ignored me, so I was walking behind them. Then I decided to just turn around and walk back home. They didn't notice and they never asked where I went. That really hurt. Also, at another point, one of the girls came up to me and just flat out said to me, "Sometimes I don't understand why you have friends." Well, recently I've started wondering about it too. One group of friends I had was a group of 7. During restrictions in London you were limited to groups of 6. Guess who was left out almost every time? Edit. Wow, I didn't expect all these responses. Thank you for all the support. Don't worry, I do have a few groups of friends and a wide support network, so this didn't affect me that badly. It more just made me take stock and think, oh, I'm definitely number 7 in this group, so I should take that into account when I decide who to spend my time with. Mom got cancer and I had to come home and drop out of college to help the family, said I might need some emotional support etc., and got ghosted the next day. Real shitty part is I helped one of them with their grandmother's cancer and brother's attempted suicide. I was like a decoration on their conversations with each other, and they only talked to me to tell me things like be quiet. Or can I borrow this please? When I was in deep depression and finally opened up to my friends and they made fun of me saying I was only trying to get attention. I'll offer some advice that comes from 40 years of figuring things out. 1. If they make you feel bad more often than they make you feel good, they aren't your friend. 2. If they shit talk about mutual friends to you, they're also slagging you off to those self-same people. They aren't your friend. 3. If you are constantly the butt of their jokes in front of other people, they aren't your friend. 4. If they undermine your achievements, or are only supportive when they want something, they aren't your friend. 5. If they're fucking your fiancé behind your back, they're definitely not your friend. Bit of a specialist category, that one. When I broke up with a girl that I had dated for less than 5 months and they all abandoned me for her, and then I found out they all were taking a trip to Colorado together and nobody even bothered to tell me. I found that out on Facebook. When you need help, so you start writing him a message, then see 3 unanswered messages from you asking for his helps, and right above a conversation of you helping him out for hours on stupid shits. When he ripped me and our other friend/flatmate off for $700, and when we confronted him about it he took all his nice stuff and left us to get rid of his trash and never paid us our money back. So essentially we were down $700, meaning we had to come up with that money, we had to continue paying rent etc. with one less income, and we had to pay to get rid of his crap. Fuck you, Vance. Was talking to her during class and she just says, "Why don't you have other friends?" It was terrible. Especially since this guy behind us just froze at her comment and stared at us to see what happens next. Edit. I honestly didn't think this would get this much attention and criticism. But I'll give you the context of this. Also, I'm sorry to anyone saying they had similar experiences, that feeling really sucks. I, female, was extremely close to her since elementary school, and this happened in middle school in the middle of class. We were just talking normally when she just blurts this out, which is why I mentioned the guy. I think he was talking to us when she said it, and he happened to be my crush's best friend. So it was even more embarrassing that he heard this. Also, I wasn't always bothering her with my problems. In fact, I had always felt left out because it seemed like I was more her friend than she was mine. I did have other friends, but like I said, me and her were close. Also, the relationship didn't end between us. It did end though when she moved a year later, but after that I figured out the type of person she was. Also, her question didn't sound like a friendly question, which is clearly why I am still hurt by it after all these years. After middle school, I realized that my friends weren't actually my friends since they'd spent basically the entirety of it bullying me and making my life a living hell. I was so used to being abused and mistreated, I thought that was what friendship was. It's unfortunate that the leader of it all got to live a good life, and I'm just fortunate that my friends from high school, who also knew this dude, believed me when I told them what kind of a person he was to me. When I had a large hole in my foot after stepping on an iron spike. They laughed as the ambulance guys closed the doors. One of the ambulance guys said, "Some friends you've got there." I realized he was right. I was in a band with my closest friends, and we used to travel a lot for gigs, etc. Because it was just for fun, and we all had real jobs. Sometimes one of wouldn't be able to make it, and I noticed that whoever wasn't in the car would get ruthlessly slammed by my friends. After 3 or 4 times I worked out that if I wasn't in the car, they would say bad things about me. So one day I say I can't make it to the gig, and I send along a colleague from work to take my place. Next day he reported back to me that they spent the whole trip there and back hanging shit on me. And not in a fun way, they genuinely were not my friends. Never spoke to any of them again. When I told them I was detoxing and cleaning up on taking drugs, and they proceeded to offer me more drugs, take them in front of me and egg me on to take more. When I left, that was the last time they spoke to me. When I tried to be her wing woman for this guy she was crushing on, but the guy liked me instead, so she crushed up some of her Xanax and put it in my drink, and then left me by the side of some old train tracks. A quote I love. They aren't real friends, until they defend you in your absence. Went drinking with my best friends. We were a group of 5 college girls having a blast at a bar. I got drunk, but was still remember some of what was happening. We were leaving the bar and a guy was talking to one of my friends, let's call her friend G. He came over and grabbed me by the waist and he said, "Your friends are following us to my place. Let's go to my truck." I was drunk and this guy was still holding me while we walked to the parking lot. I was about to get in this guy's truck when another friend ran and grabbed me. Later I found out that my friend G had made a deal with this guy. He gave her weed in exchange of her fooling me to go alone to his place. My friend sold me for weed. I came across an old mutual friend back in late 2016. We talked and caught up with our lives from a 10-year gap since we've seen each other last. Following year 17 through 18 he started turning things around and becoming a fake friend. He started asking for money at least once a month at first, then progressed to every other week, varying from $20, then to $100, then $500. Excuses were, "I need it for my cell phone bill," or "I need it for a Mother's Day gift," followed by "I need it for rent." Meanwhile, this guy was working at McDonald's full-time at $16/hour and living with his grandparents rent-free. I decided to cut ties with this person. When they greet you in the morning not with a good morning or hello, no what's up, no hey there. It's "You got some weed?" Like fuck, dude. No, I don't have any weed for leeches. When my best friend had her BF cheat on her, and the group of people who witnessed it didn't say anything for a whole year. It made me question their morals. Like, if I was in my bestie's position, would they not say anything for a whole year? Not to mention, they would talk massive amount of crap on us when we weren't around. So yeah. When someone else told me they said they're only your friend because they feel sorry for you and tried prying as to why. Me and this girl were both in school counseling for absent fathers, so hearing this after she left the school was kinda devastating. Not to mention, another reason I won't trust anyone. It just I'd never had friends, and this was 4th grade. I just wish I knew why I was so pitiful, so sad, they felt they had to pretend to be my friend. Crazy, but when a very toxic ex-GF made note that they weren't my friends, I didn't listen. After recovering from that horrible breakup, I met/started dating/quarantining with a really nice lady. Friends I fed, partied with and traveled with were jealous and would start picking me apart in front of said lady. End of the story is everyone is gone now. Should have listened to toxic GF. 1/10 would not repeat. When I moved, no one stayed in touch, even with me trying. When I started working from home, no one has checked in on me. Starting to think I'm just unlikable tbh. No one came to my graduation party and I wasn't invited to anyone's. We were seniors in high school. It was when a friend asked me to write her entire senior research paper because she was failing and he said no. She then went on to tell the entire school about my past sexual abuse which I had disclosed to her in confidence the year prior. That's how I got the nickname Alabama for the rest of the year. It was my brother who assaulted me when I was 5 and he was 15. As a small consolation prize, she failed senior year, dropped out, works at Walmart last I heard and has 3 kids with 3 guys. I went on to get my nursing degree, work ICU/ER and am happily married. Fuck you Nikki. You got what you deserved. My best friend from high school didn't invite me to his wedding. My husband's best friend, been buddies since GR2, asked my husband to organize his stag party. Said they hadn't set a date, but wanted to do the party anyway. Guy got married 2 weeks later, husband wasn't invited. When I was in a fragile mental state and they thought it was funny to make me break down. And they have the nerve to leech on me a few hours before a test. I ended up leaving them to fail instead of helping. When they chose to believe a rumor over me. Well, so and so said this about you. That was when I chose my own path and those that wanted to keep me as a friend decided to do so. It was a slow burn. She was my best friend for years, in school we were inseparable. But she would make those snide comments and over time it got to me. She kept putting me down and, understood. We were both getting bullied, and she just needed someone that was below her. I thought if it would make her happy, I was okay with it. I could take it. Then we finished school and she met new people. And she seemed happy without me. And I was relieved. I could finally withdraw from her. Edit, to those worrying, I am slowly learning to distance myself from friends who do not bring anything good into my life. I still try to be open and understanding to everyone, but I won't put up with being bullied. My therapist once said something that stuck to me: you can't keep helping people if they drag you down. Because if you both end up in that hole, nobody is helped. When we started dating, Edit, should have stated more clearly when we fell in love, cause a lot of people think what I meant was bad.